Hi, my name is Lee-Anne Culnane. This webcast is based on a presentation given by Professors Brian Gaunt and Scott Ford at the 2018 APBS conference in San Diego on coaching schools to engage in effective teaming. A key foundation for the implementation of school-wide positive behaviour support for learning is in the effective use of a team-based approach. The words group and team are for the most part interchangeable, but there are distinct differences between groups and teams. While the differences might be subtle, we have to understand that a group is a number of individuals forming a unit for a reason or cause, and a team is a collection of accomplished people coming together for a common goal that needs completion. Psychologist Bruce Tuckman first came up with the phrase forming, storming, norming, and performing to describe the path that most teams follow on their way to high performance, later adding a fifth stage, adjourning, whilst PBS4L has added its own fifth stage, sustaining. The movement through these developmental stages varies from group to group. We are encouraged to adjust coaching intensity according to need. In the initial stages, teams may need support and advice to ensure implementation with fidelity, ensuring sustainable practices, and prevent burnout. The key learnings presented attempts to define the constructs for group interactions as it pertains to small groups, with recommendations as to how support teams to pull together these 5 constructs and elicit a high-performing team. It is suggested that stereotypically, norms emerge through trial and error. The goal alignment of implicit to explicit goals is weak or non-existent. Roles can be unclear. The structure either doesn't exist, isn't well understood, or not used, or it is the only construct addressed by the group. Cohesion within stereotypical groups is weak or non-existent. Gaunt and Ford elaborated further on how these 5 constructs can assist in coaching teams to move through the developmental stages towards a more high-functioning group. We know that structure is the framework groups use to organise people, time, tasks, and information. But it was highlighted that addressing weak structure is one of the easiest and most common group constructs addressed. Consider a coach who addresses structure through assisting a team and using a standard meeting agenda template. But within months, the team stops meeting altogether because of time constraints and conflicts within the group. Addressing structure alone is typically not enough to assist in group development. It is recommended that meeting structure needs to be clear and relevant. They support the work of the group and can be used with some level of skill by all team members. Structure needs to be addressed in concert with all other constructs. We know that norms determine the range and types of behaviours that a group considers acceptable. Every group either norms intentionally or unintentionally. In developing a team, we need to consider how norms are constructed. Did your team adopt a set of norms created by others? Or did they co-construct norms but have never looked at them again? Norming is an event. It is an ongoing process that takes place in every group. A recommendation is that norming needs to be intentional and continuous. Norms are representative of and unique to the current group and established through discussion and consensus of all members, whilst monitored and reviewed regularly. We know that goals describe the intended purpose of the group's work and interactions, but consider that there are 2 types of goals always in place. The explicit goal, which is the goal the group says it has, and the implicit goal, which is the goal the group acts like it has. Consider a team meeting whose purpose is to discuss behavioural data. The group spends time expressing frustration with various student behaviours and the lack of leadership support. The explicit goal is to problem solve behavioural data, while the implicit goal is to support one another around the collective frustration. Implicit goals can trump explicit goals without alignment. It is unlikely that explicit goals will be met. It is recommended that we pay attention to implicit goals, how the group is behaving in relation to the explicit goals, why the group says it has come together. We know that roles are specific types of behaviours and responsibilities associated within a group. We are asked to consider that members within a group typically occupy more than one role at a time. their group role, assigned with responsibilities and actions, and their person role, personal characteristics or behaviours that can contribute to or disrupt the group dynamics. Consider a team. The member's group role is chairperson, but their person role is that of a caretaker. This nurturing characteristic ensures the well-being of all team members, but it can be to the detriment of achieving the explicit goal. We need to ensure group roles are clear and relevant to the work of the group, and that person roles support the group's development. We know that cohesion is the strength of bonding within the group. Cohesion, or lack of cohesion, can often be clearly seen by the attendance at meetings and heard at the close of meetings. Consider what a typical meeting looks like. Is it well attended by all members? Have members already gathered their things and ready to leave prior to the ending time? When the meeting officially closes, do all members rush out the door? An incohesive group is a sign that the group needs attention. It's like the canary in the coal mine. It is recommended to acknowledge and support each other's efforts and promote the sense of development and moving ahead through a commitment to the task at hand. Coaching a team will include bringing these 5 constructs together to highlight the effective profile of a problem-solving group. A high-functioning group establishes norms intentionally that are unique to the current group, which they regularly monitor and review. Implicit and explicit goals are aligned and in accordance with the stated purpose of the group coming together. All roles support the development of the group, while the structure is clear and well understood, while the cohesion of the group is evident by the energy within the group to stay with the work. Time is the most valuable resource for educators. Meeting and planning time often is scarce, so we must learn to work smarter, maximising our time and outcomes. Unproductive meetings can dim enthusiasm for your work and slow efforts, while effective team processes excite and inspire and fuel progress. A high-functioning team regularly reviews its performance and goals and alters its priorities and practice in the light of review.